Cycle to Farm is a metric century enjoyed by about 300 bicyclists. They travel 62 miles along the way, stopping at local farms to sample whatever the farm has to offer. They also have the opportunity to buy the farmer's product, and volunteers transport all their purchases back to the fabulous after party at the finish. When I moved to Western North Carolina, I realized that I was cycling past most of the farms that I visit when I go to my local tailgate market. And I decided that it would be fun to add a new component to cycling events that introduced stopping at farms. I just started asking the farmers that I knew best to see if they would like to be involved, and they all wanted to give it a try. Now it's quite competitive. Many farms want to participate more than we can actually accommodate, and that's part of why we have expanded this year. If you participate in Cycle to Farm, you show up at the start line and you're greeted with coffee and usually some sort of a treat. Then after the start, about every 15 miles, you get to stop at a farm, refill your water bottle, sample the farm's product, and decide if you'd like to purchase some of the product. Don't worry about carrying it back to the finish because volunteers will do that for you. When you arrive at the fabulous after party, you're greeted with a farm-to-table meal prepared with ingredients from the farms that you just visited and New Belgium beer. New Belgium is our presenting sponsor for Cycle to Farm. The routes that we choose for Cycle to Farm are use mostly country rural roads, and they're very beautiful. They are quite challenging, but they do introduce riders to a new area of the community that they may not have experienced before.
Cycle to Farm is a wonderful opportunity to be able to bring other people into this farming community and be able to make an economic impact. So Cycle to Farm, I think, really meets three of those goals that I think can be very useful for helping the small family farm. One of the goals they do is that immediate economic impact. So they're bringing these cyclists into the communities directly onto the farms, and so it has the immediate economic impact of those people buying from those farmers on that day during the event. The second major goal that I think the Cycle to Farm is able to do is it builds relationships between those potential customers, in this case the cyclists, and the farmers. And I think relationship building is very important because then you have a more aware consumer base, a more educated consumer base about farms and what it takes to maintain farms. And that is very important for the future sustainability of farms. And the third thing that Cycle to Farm does, specifically for our Sunday Mush Cycle to Farm, is they've partnered with Buncombe County Farmland Preservation. So we highlight as well as provide funds to Farmland Preservation. And so I think that is really key.
I've been working with the Buncombe County Farmland Preservation Program for about 6 years now. And the program works to preserve farmland all over the county, and Sandy Mush is the area where the most land has been preserved. About 10,000 acres here in this area in Leicester have been placed in conservation easements. When I heard about Cycle to Farm, I was excited to talk to Jen about the possibility of bringing that model out to this area because not as many people come to Sandy Mush just to visit farms. So this is a great way to work on the farmland preservation from an economic viability standpoint, and it's working out great, as well as Cycle to Farm is a benefit for the Farmland Preservation Program in Buncombe County, which we really appreciate.
Conservation easements are critical to our community. First of all, we're confronted with this enormous problem of population growth and how we are going to provide for tomorrow. And in that regard, I hold great hope for small farms and indeed local agriculture. I think that has a very bright future as the population pressures increase. And it is imperative that we do all we can to preserve land that's capable of producing food for tomorrow, recreation opportunities for tomorrow. It is incumbent upon those of us who are custodians of these valuable agricultural properties to do all we can to preserve them, not only for the production of healthy, locally grown foods, but also for the enjoyment of members of the community, okay? There's a value to the vista behind me. It may be not translated easily in terms of dollars and cents, but we know that it's worth preserving.
North Carolina is actually 4th in the nation for farmland loss. We're losing farmland at a very rapid pace, and the county sees farmland preservation as a very important thing to boost our economy as well as our tourism economy. If we lose all this beautiful farmland, we're not going to have as many folks wanting to come and visit us and spend their dollars here. Cycle to Farm addresses the economic viability of farms, especially those farms that produce product that can be sold like at markets. So Cycle to Farm actually brings the market to the farm. Our role with Soil and Water is to help the farmers understand the process of placing their land in an easement, and it's all a voluntary thing. And when they feel strongly that they want to preserve their land and not see it go to some other use, they can talk to our department, and we take them through that process of protecting their land permanently, and we'll always ensure that that farmland is intact and hopefully in farming.